Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? We're back for your Wednesday night. I hope you all survived. I believe no one died. Everyone's all right. Well, it depends what side of this argument you're on. But I believe you will be just fine. Everyone just needs to calm down. I'll talk to you in a second about a couple of things, but um wait, let me set up this chat. Let me say hello to everyone, then I'll talk about it. Where is this? Okay. All right. Let's look at this. Hey guys, DJ, how are you? Marlene. Andrew is here too. Mr. DJ. Laura T. Marilyn Landis. Marlene Clausen. Lisa F. Maria is here. STL cards. Who else is here? Rachel. Glitter. Hey, Glitter. Hey, Emily. Good to see you all. So, all right. I had a couple of people send me things that said people want to move to Australia because of this election. Let me fill you in on Australia for a little bit. Let me give you the 411. Australia is going through the same issues that you perceive that are going on in America. So this leftist woke ideology that you have in America that you seem to have issues with, we're having the same issues here, except here in Australia, we have all those, but we also have a state government who thinks it's okay to nanny us to death. They regulate and rule us to death on everything and anything you can think of while doing a shit job with everything else. You know, hospitals, schooling, medical, healthcare, just pick a subject. So for those of you that say you're going to come to Australia and move here, I can tell you in about 7 months' time, there is also going to be a far right government in power in Australia. I will bet $1 million on it today. Not saying I'm right wing or anything. I'm just saying I know that's what's going to happen because people are so sick to death of our prime minister. His name is Albanese. He's a complete tosser. He's just terrible. He's the worst Labor prime minister in about probably since Labor was invented. Even hardcore Labor voters down here, like hardcore lifetime Labor voters, hate his ass. He is crap. He is the worst. He does not represent working people, doesn't represent the community, and all he does is enrich himself and his mates. He basically has liberal ideology, which is what the opposite side here normally does. But yeah, there's going to be a big change down here. So all these people that think they're going to be moving here, you're just going to be moving into the same thing for the next 4 years. So don't be moving to Australia. One, we don't want you because we're quite happy with our population, thanks. And two, it ain't going to be much different. When things don't work correctly, there's often a change. May not be the change that you're looking for, may not be the change that you support, but it's time to do something different for a lot of people because right now it's not working for anyone. We're all paying more. We all pay a lot more on our insurance and things like that. We all pay more on our rent. We don't get as much back in our tax returns, and our hospitals is turning to crap. Even in Australia, where we get public health care, our hospitals are so bad, they're so overrun that a lot of times you can't do anything. Like you can't get an appointment, you can't get specialists, you can't do this. You're on waiting list for like 9 months. So all I can tell you, the people that are moving to Australia, good luck, because it's going to be a right-wing government down here in about, I don't know, between now and July next year. The difference here in Australia is when our elections are called, they have to be called within the 4 years of the government, but it can be called sort of like any time within, it can be called at any time really, but normally within 6 months towards the end of the term. So they can call it whenever. They can call an early election, which means they'll call it, way before their deadline, or they'll have one that's a month or so before the deadline. I suspect Albanese, being the massive coward that he is, he's going to stretch this out until early next year sometime. So uh, I've been waiting for him to call election for a long time. As a lifelong Labour voter, I'm telling you, lifelong, my family's strong Labour voters. Uh, we won't be voting Labour next time. Not if he's the head of it, and not if he's the one that is dictating the party. Not an effing chance. So I think the world just needs a bit of a change. And hey, sorry about that. We don't talk about politics, but I felt, hey, on this, people saying they're going to move to Australia or whatever, why not? Let's have 2 minutes of it. Yeah, we are Commonwealth. Yeah. So they'll often they don't do this whole like every 4 years in the first week in November. It's sort of like yeah, every 3 and a bit years whenever they feel like it. Whenever they feel like calling an election date. So we'll see. Lisa says same. Yeah, I know so many people that feel the same way for a variety of issues. It's not just me. Like my big one is policy on vaping and health related uh labor policies. And I know there's other people that don't like it's just all sorts of things. You could pick 50 different things down here. So don't be coming here. A lot of US trauma. It's almost like that down here now. It really is. So yeah, there's my little political speech. But that's all I'm going to say. And that's it. Let's get into the true crime. All right. Hey, so this story we covered, I think it was back in February, maybe February, March, something like that. So I hate to hear this. The DA, I think it's of Transylvania County, is not pursuing charges after child dies at NC Wilderness Camp. That camp is Trails, Carolina. And that is extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing. I'll read you some of the. We'll do a catch up thing in a second, but I'll bring you this latest video right here from Fox Carolina News. You can head to their YouTube channel if you want to watch more videos on the Trails Carolina scandal.
Turning now to a news alert out of Western North Carolina, the district attorney's office will not pursue charges in the death of a 12-year-old boy at a wilderness therapy camp. The 12-year-old was found dead at Trails, Carolina back in February. He suffocated while inside a small tent that was zipped closed with an alarm system designed to prevent the teens from running away. The district attorney says while counselors could hear the boy thrashing around, they could not hear him asking for help. The district attorney says while this case is undeniably tragic, there was no criminal intent or recklessness that would warrant pursuing involuntary manslaughter charges. Trails Carolina has since closed, and that property is for sale.
Good. Sell it to someone who might actually do some good with the area. 2, what do you mean there's no evidence of any wrongdoing? Do I have to do everyone's job for them? Do I really? Do I have 50 titles in this world, do I? The evidence is pretty obvious in this particular case. Here, let me grab it for you. We've gone over it before. The biggest one is actually the fact that they said that they have a routine to check on him. I don't believe, like they said in that video, they go, "Oh, we heard him rustling, but we didn't know whether we should help him." Are you joking? Like, what kind of policies do you have in place for a child that hasn't even been there 24 hours? Don't you have some sort of like duty of care towards that child? You got to remember these are other people's children. They're not toys. They're not, oh my god, it died. Oh well, we'll get another one tomorrow. No, this is someone's child. And you just let them die and suffocate in that bivy bag of what they called it. But what they said they had a routine to check on him. It was like midnight, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. But at 7:30 a.m., they're like, "Oh my god, he's dead." The the F were you doing all night? What were you doing at 12, at 3, at 6 a.m.? How is it that at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, he was already in rigor mortis? That's why I don't believe their testimony to the state. I don't believe it. To set into rigor mortis, he would have had to been dead for hours. Hours and hours and hours. I don't believe them. "Oh, we heard him thrashing at like 5 a.m." Come on. Where's the forensics? Where's the actual forensic medical evidence for this particular case? Who It makes me so angry because that child died in vain. He did. He died in vain. It wasn't his choice to go here, right? His parents sent him here, but him as a child has to do what his parents want him to do because they're the legal guardians. So they sent him to Trails, Carolina, and he winds up dead within 24 hours of being there. There's no accountability. Well, they got their license taken off them. Is that enough? But they're selling the property for $3.2 million. So they're not going to be hard up for a coin after this. They're going to be just fine. The family, on the other hand, has to mourn the tragic death of their son because of your misconduct. Far out. Talk about accountability seems to be the word of the day. All right, I'm going to play this one. It's a bit longer version here for you from the same news company.
No criminal charges are being filed in the death of a 12-year-old boy at a North Carolina wilderness camp.
The announcement comes after an 8-month investigation. And Fox Carolina's Grace Runkle joins us in studio to explain why the district attorney says although this case is heart-wrenching, there was no criminal wrongdoing.
12-year-old Clark Harmon suffocated during his first night at Trails, Carolina. Initially, the sheriff's office said there were signs of criminal negligence, but today the district attorney announced they would not pursue involuntary manslaughter charges. Now, this is a story we've been following for a while now. Trails, Carolina was located in Transylvania County. It was a nature-based therapy camp for kids, but in the months following Clark's death, the state revoked its license, and now the property is up for sale. In February, Clark was found dead inside what's called a bivvy. It's essentially an enclosed sleeping bag. And the statement from the district attorney says it was camp policy to have campers sleep in a bivvy, zipped shut, with an alarm on the zipper for the first night. The goal, they said, was to keep the campers from running away. The district attorney says that campers and counselors in Clark's cabin heard the 12-year-old thrashing around and mumbling in his bed that night, but they did not hear him say anything like he needed help or that he could not breathe. The letter from the district attorney says in part, quote, the investigation revealed that the victim's death was the result of suffocation, which, while tragic, did not involve criminal intent or.
Sorry, did they really just say, we didn't hear anything that sounded like he needed any help? He was suffocating, you absolute morons. He was suffocating. What do you expect him to do? Sorry, hold on. Let me stop my survival breathing of whatever oxygen I can get to speak out to you and give you some words while I'm terrified, trapped in this freaking zipped up bivy bag. Oh, some people are not fit to do their jobs. I think we've learned that recently.
Recklessness to warrant criminal charges for involuntary manslaughter under law. Again, no criminal charges filed, but North Carolina's Division of Health Services Regulation did find issues with how the camp operated. Before revoking the camp's license, they found issues with how they handled medications, and they found instances where the staff failed to protect campers from harm.
Not only this, but they also had another young person die on their property about 8 years ago. The person actually broke their leg. They got trapped outside and they said they froze to death. I think it was froze to death or died from shock. And they ended up dying on that campus as well. It takes a very weak, government, local government to not press charges over this. This should be an easy one. This should be an easy one. This is like slam dunk, swish, nothing but net. You go after the people who caused the child's death. I don't care what they say. Children are expected to survive when they head to these type of camps and these type of treatment facilities. They're not like, oh, we had 100 children here in the last year. We did pretty well. We got 99 out of 100 on this test. What do you mean? Is it a test? What is it? Well, we do our scoring like this. So it was 99 out of 100. Only one child died. That's not good. You want 100 out of 100 on this particular test. You want all the children to go home. You don't want them to die. I think it's crazy. I think it's out of hand. I don't know if there's an appeal process or it can go higher or something, but someone has to be held accountable for that child dying. Just sweeping it under the rug and being like, his death doesn't matter. Who cares? Oh, we revoked the license. They're going to make out like pigs in mud selling it for $3.2 million. Who here learns a lesson? No one. No one. The government walks away. They reckon they've done their job. The people who own Trails Carolina, they get their money out of the property. They avoid any repercussions. Who here has any accountability for that kid? Looks like no one. It looks like no one is going to put up their hand and say we did something wrong. Ugh, ridiculous. It's not only that, I have some interesting stuff here for you. There seems to be a lot of people who either put their child in this place or stayed there as when they were younger. And if you go to their reviews, there are more than one person who said this place was basically a rip-off facility here to gather money, not provide support to anyone. Yeah, I'm going to show you this. Hopefully I don't dox myself. Let's see. So they're saying here, this is someone who's obviously seen the news reports. They said one kid died the first night he was there. Another happened when he potentially ran away from the alleged abuse the children often received all within the last decade. Yeah, that's someone there. This person reckons they are a survivor. Not saying they are or they're not. I don't know them. Can't verify their story, but they did feel compelled enough to write this. They say adults would have inappropriate conversations with the kids all the time. They used cruel and unusual punishment against us. One experience was them forcing us to pack up camp, set it up again, repack camp, set it up again until we did it within 10 minutes. And that was in the middle of winter. Another time they forced us to take a bag of rotten food, put it into the cups, fill it with water and drink it so we would learn how to clean properly. They're saying, but they will silence all of these stories because it doesn't fit their narrative. This person here, Anna, says, I've seen videos of people that have attended this camp and the abuse that happens is absolutely unacceptable and insane. No child should have to live like this as a form of therapy. Absolutely ridiculous. People should shut this place down. Luckily, it has been shut down. Thank the Lord. And they said, listen to the stories of the abused children who make it out of these camps. If you actually love your child, you won't send them. And then there's this guy. I've been trying to research him and try and figure out his phone number or his email because I actually want to talk to him and understand his mindset, but I haven't been able to find his emails. But if anyone's watching this because they Googled the name of the camp and you want to get your side of the story out, email me sundaywithping@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. So reach out to me as Ping wants more research. This guy here, his name is Scott. He said our child's therapist was excellent and I wish she was here. That said, the facility was not a good fit and things degraded quickly day by day. The drop-off went horribly wrong with incorrect information being provided to us. After only having to argue with them for 2 days to agree to try again and pay for hotel food, etc. He says, be prepared to part with a great deal of money. Our child was expelled after 2 weeks, but they kept the enrollment fee of almost $5,000. They also agreed to keep our child for up to 10 days until we could make other arrangements, paid a great deal of money for babysitting. 2 months later, we received an invoice for therapy. He said it wasn't that much money, but he said to submit to our insurance, who has an impeccable record of paying for these type of bills. He says it's been rejected twice. Upon speaking with the insurance company, they said the two individuals on the invoices are not qualified to charge for these type of services listed within the receipt. They said according to the company Trails Carolina, they were told they should hire an insurance advocate to help. What do you mean? It's not the customer's problem. It's the people you've employed. They obviously aren't on the, correct whatever, and they can't fund it through their insurance due to it. Marlene says, post in the posting with your email and tell them they believe them. You mean I believe them? Yeah, I believe them. What does that do though, DJ? Is that all we boil down a child's life to though, is money? Where's the real deterrent here to ever do it again? Oh, you lost, even if they took the money from the sale of the land, $3.2 million. What about all the other money they made for years through that camp? Sure, they'll be fine. They might get hit a little bit. Where does it stop? How do we find justice for that kid? Do we just forget about him and be like, oh, well, he was some freak kid who got put here, obviously a bad kid who needed this type of therapy. Oh, screw him. Let's not remember his name. And let's just pretend like it never happened because the government didn't want to charge anyone. I believe that kid's life is worth something, and it's worth pursuing for justice against, for him. Pretty disgusting, if you ask me. Rachel says, you people don't have the proper license for counseling and the insurance company's fault. Really? Yeah. They don't have their people registered in the correct, insurance format to be able to charge for the services. And they're like, go get an insurance advocate. Oy, oy, oy. LMS says, as a local, this pisses me off to no end. No justice. I agree. It is a very it's cowardice to hide from this, not only for 8 months, but you release the findings of your investigation the day the election is called. Tell me you're not trying to sneak something past the public, when you do something like that as a government. Oh, hey, we're gonna release something really important, but we're gonna try and slide it in under all the 5 million articles about Trump. We're gonna hope no one notices. Well, I noticed. Other people noticed. I had several emails from people bringing this up and telling me that there was a decision released today. People are watching because, we want to know. Yeah, so I don't know where we go from here. Even if they do raise a civil suit, the only good I can see coming from that is a monetary damages, maybe more information from the boys' family to come into the light of what they experienced. But yeah, let me get you out of this. Actually, let's get you back to here. All right. Yeah, pretty crazy. I can't believe they would do that, and then try to slide it past us on election day. Okay. Let's go to the Charlotte Observer and see what they have to say. They're saying here, prosecutors will not file criminal charges over the death of a 12-year-old boy who suffocated at a Western North Carolina wilderness therapy camp. His name was Clark Joseph Harmon. He died at Trails Carolina on February 3 of this year while sleeping in a one-person nylon tent called a bivvy. According to an autopsy report, he arrived at the camp for troubled adolescence from his home in New York the previous day. The autopsy didn't state that anyone at the lake intentionally tried to harm the boy, but it said his breathing may have been restricted by the bivvy and that he was placed into this comprised sleeping area by others and did not have the ability to reasonably remove himself from the situation. In a statement issued Wednesday morning, Transylvania County District Attorney Andrew Murray said the investigation revealed that Clark Harmon's death was the result of suffocation, which, while tragic, did not involve criminal intent or recklessness sufficient to warrant criminal charges for involuntary manslaughter under the law. What about the not checking on him overnight? Shouldn't it have been mandatory to see a visual face-to-face of a child who has only been there less than 24 hours? I understand maybe later on because, you get to know the child, they're okay, they can sleep through the night on their own, that type of thing. But wouldn't it be, they probably do this even in mental hospitals, where if someone's new, they're basically on S-word watch for a while, and they have to be visually sighted, every so often. Why wasn't that undertaken on the night that he died? And why did it take till 7:30 in the morning to realize that some point overnight he passed away and no one noticed? That's where you find your intent and negligence. That's where you find that. And that's how you make your involuntary manslaughter case. But obviously, it's all a bit too hard for you. What's your name? District Attorney Andrew Murray. Where is this guy? Let's have a look. Where's District Attorney Andrew Murray? Oh, okay. I see. I see. Did you get voted out last night? I hope so. Is that why you dropped it today? Because you're like, oh, I'm going to be out of a job soon. I better drop this report that I've been trying to hide. Here you go, Andrew Murray, District Attorney for that county or that region or Carolina or whatever. There he is. Sounds like a straitjacket. I agree. Yeah, check on him. The little boy's name, I think I read it out. Where's his full name? His full name was Clark Joseph Harmon. Now, that name was redacted for many months. I think today's the first time I've seen his full name. I knew his first name was Clark, but I didn't know the middle and last name as it had been redacted at one point. But yeah, Clark Joseph Harmon. Can we find a photo of him? Oh my God, are you joking? What a sweet little boy. Hold on. How do I get this up on the screen? Nope, that's not going to work. The hell does this mean? A service in witness to the resurrection and in celebration of the life of Clark Joseph Harmon. The hell does that mean? Is that a Jehovah's Witness thing? Someone will have to tell me because I told you all I'm a holiday Christian. I don't know all the words. Yeah, let me get this uploaded for you. Get off my screen. There we go. He's a nice, cute looking kid. There's his photo. Says, yeah, a service in witness to the resurrection and in celebration of the life of Clark Joseph Harmon. 9th of February 2011, he was born, and then he died February 3rd, 2024. He was only on this earth as, less time than I can remember watching a TV show. Like, I watched a show Last Man Standing. It started in like 2009. That kid was alive on this earth for less time than that TV show has been around. That's very sad. Not sure what religion that is. Maybe someone knows. Yeah, I don't know what religion that is either. A service in witness to the resurrection. Is that Catholic? Could it be a type of Catholic? They like to talk about resurrection and stuff like that. Hold on, let me Google that phrase and we might be able to find it. Hold on. My Google Fu tells me that it's Presbyterian. So that's what it's telling me on the ye old Google Fu, that it's a Presbyterian church thing. You can see here on the Westminster Presbyterian page, it says, the service of witness to the resurrection is one of which worships God, gives thanks for the life of the deceased, and affirms the promises of eternal life we have in Jesus Christ. Thus, the service is one of affirmation and positive spirit. There you go. I never heard that before. He was exactly your grandson's age, yeah. Yeah, what went so tragically wrong in his life that he had to end up at this place? Let me see if I can find out where that was held. It's very bright. Let me take that down. It's very bright. It's even like shining off me. Let me just. Actually, this is interesting. Thank you to, I don't know who this is, but Marty G. Marty G. Thank you. Thanks for reading Marty G reports. Thank you. Says here, according to many, Trails Carolina is a troubled teen industry program, or basically for teenagers who are not doing the right thing at home. Harmon had been there fewer than 24 hours on February 3 when he died. And this is the report from the medical examiner. What do we got here? Just signatures of people. Yeah. Wait, who did the report? Residents. There you go. Clark J. Harmon. Officer in charge looks to be from the TCSD, Detective Stoney Gonce. I hope that's the name. So his death was due to asphyxia, and I'm guessing, I know that is doctor's handwriting, smothering, if I can read that right. Smothering? Bloody doctor's handwriting. I can't complain. It's how I write as well. What does it say? Means of death. Means of death. Let's have a look. What does it say? Did they tick no boxes? Like, what is going on here? Okay, type of vehicle? No vehicle, no gun, no instrument. Toxic agent? No toxic agent. Drowning? No water. Fire? No. Fall? Activity of defendant, decedent, and premises. Fall, fatal injury or illness occupied on the job. Yeah, he was working at the time. No, he was not. Fatal injury or illness, sleeping. Oh man, I hate when I get fatal injury or illness while I'm activity sleeping. That's always difficult. Description of the body. Here we go. Algor, so he was cool. So cool when found. That's very interesting. That means he was there for quite a period of time. He was in a freaking enclosed sleeping bag. What does that tell you? The fact that his body was cool. Here is a diagram with nothing on it. Shocking. Says here, the decedent is a 12-year-old white male. On the 2nd of February 2024, he was escorted to a camp for behavioral and addiction problems by two gentlemen. Two gentlemen? Not his parents? Who were hired by the parents through an escort company. I think escort between me and you have different meanings. When I call an escort, they might accompany me somewhere, but I ain't giving them to no children. They're saying, those two gentlemen were hired by his parents to escort him to the Trails, Carolina. They said there was a point during check-in in the decedent refused to do anything until he spoke to his parents in New York. Counselors state he was cooperative and interactive after that point, although he refused to eat his supper. They state that he was on a one-on-one basis with a counselor who was with him at all times. They stated that he refused to eat supper. This counselor states that they went to bed shortly after that, and as with all first-night campers, his mattress and bedding were placed on the floor with the counselor beside him. And you can't find a way to charge anyone. Really? 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 Okay. Let's keep going. They're saying here the counselor states that they went to bed shortly after and that they had a counselor on the floor beside him while he was inside that bivvy. The setup was to place a thick mill plastic on the mat, on top of which a mummy sleeping bag was placed, or a bivvy bag. Decedent lays in the sleeping bag, which has a zipper alarm. Oh no, sorry, he's in the mummy sleeping bag. Then they put him in the bivvy. And then they say one-man tent so they're saying once he's placed in the sleeping bag, then they place him in the bivvy. And it's supposed to be so they can hear movement. He states that at 10 p.m. at night, the decedent was restless and mumbling in his sleep. Bro, he wasn't mumbling or restless in his sleep. He was trying to breathe. That was his death rattle, probably, that you heard. He states the decedent was talking and restless in his sleep around 11 p.m. as well. So they took him out of the sleeping bag. He falls asleep and is awakened to go back into the sleeping arrangement. The counselor states at midnight, the decedent was restless and mumbling in his sleep again, which was accompanied by thrashing about. Okay. According to his counselor, however, there is no known seizure history. Yeah, I often have no known seizure history when I die via asphyxiation. He states that subsided. Yeah, thrashing about often subsides when you die. And that was the last event. These people, come on. Makes me want to throw something. It really does. I just want to beat someone with this microphone stand. It says, however, there's no known seizure history. The next morning, the decedent was found on his right side. His head was at the foot of the tent, which tapers on the end. They state that he was cold to the touch and unresponsive, with no pants on. They state that 911 was called and CPR was attempted to no avail. There are multiple agencies involved in this investigation, to include the Transylvania County Sheriff's Department, the State Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. At the time of this report, there is a law enforcement concern regarding manner of death. On interviewing the father, he states that nude sleeping was becoming a trend due to irritation from clothing tags. He is identified by camp counselors and staff. They say, I spoke with Dr. Giffen at the Regional Autopsy Center, and he advised to send for autopsy on the 6th of February at 8 a.m. Medical history gathered from the father, he states that the decedent has ADHD, anxiety, as well as being slightly underdeveloped, which was an issue for him making friends at his age. The father states that the decedent would get physical with his parents and siblings. He states that he was seeing an endocrinologist. He has a migraine history, no other medical issues noted by the father. He does state that the decedent has been sleeping nude as of late due to tag irritation. Seems like everyone's quite willing to cover up the fact that he had no clothes on. If I was his family, I'd be very suspicious. Whether or not he had some sort of irritation to tags on clothing. If your son seems to be having some sort of irritation with tags on clothing, why did you not cut them off? Why would you not try and make your son more comfortable, especially going to a foreign environment? Is it because you don't care? I don't know. You tell me. Yeah. What else have we got? They say, of note, the medical examiner wrote that Harmon had no S-word ideation, according to information gathered from his family, nor was Harmon the first child to die at Trails, Carolina. Nearly a decade earlier, 17-year-old Alec Lansing fell into a stream, broke his hip, and perished. Harmon's autopsy report, medical examiner's investigative report, and toxicology reports are available below as PDFs. Mighty G Reports has redacted the family's home address. Well, thank you, Mighty G. I'm going to switch you to another page so I can download these, and then we're going to go through a little bit more. Yeah, just let me switch you there so I can grab these. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I know what a bivvy looks like. Thanks. Yeah, but I'll show this to the public actually. Kim sent it. Can you imagine being shoved in a mummy sleeping bag and then into this thing? And they're just like, you have a camp counselor nearby going, everything's all right. I can hear some thrashing. Yeah, I'm going to upload a photo of that bivvy. He's fine. I can hear mumbling. He's visibly distressed, but just fine. So that's like a bivvy. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yes, could be. The council has just wanted to sleep, sounds like it. It sounds like he may have been on the spectrum. Clothing tags were annoying him. Maybe other things were annoying him also. Let me give you an example. If you were shoved into a mummy sleeping bag, have it zipped up over your head, and then they shoved you into this stupid thing, would you be annoyed? I think even at 40 years old, I'd be annoyed. I'd be like, get me out of this mother effing thing. I don't want to be in there. Kid must have thought he'd done something really terrible to have to do that. This is a horrible, horrible solution to whatever they were trying to do. I get maybe putting the kid in the bivvy, but not with the sleeping bag. Why can't they have a blanket? Why can't they just have like an open blanket so they have some feeling of freedom so they don't freak out or whatever? Me too. I don't like the tight spaces either, although there's a good joke there somewhere, although now's not the time. Glitter says he honestly probably had no clue what was going on. These people were, why he was there. I agree. Angela says, I would die. I'm claustrophobic and things like that. See, even the adults are having problems. but it's okay to put a child in there who has possibly, I don't know for sure, but some sort of barriers in life. I know. Let's look up. I want to look up this mummy sleeping bag. I've never seen one before. Is it just a normal sleeping bag, or is it like those ones they use when you go on a mountain? Let's have a look. Uh-huh. It's just like those ones that go up over your head. Ah, yes, I see. I see. I see. So this is a mummy type sleeping bag. It may have been one you get like a little eye hole here, or for your mouth, I guess, or to breathe. He may have been in one that zipped all the way up, very possibly. But there is that. So he got chucked into. Oh, we have to take this down. Sorry. There we go. So he got chucked into that, and then into this double layer of restriction. 100%. I think this is blatantly being put into the too hard basket, and because everyone's about to lose their job today, they've just decided, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to be fired in a couple of months, so I'm just going to give up. That's exactly what it seems like to me. Definitely a cover up. You have to be strong for your community. As a DA, that is your job, is to take cases that no one else wants to deal with. Your job is to do the best you can for people in your constituency, in your area, but also people coming from out of state, like this child who dies in a tragic way while at this Trails Carolina that has a history of abuse with children. That is your title, that is your job. If you can't find a way to prosecute this type of case, then you deserve to have your title DA. You deserve to have it stripped, because obviously you are not up to the job of prosecuting on behalf of the county. What did you want? CCTV and a freaking gun? Like, sometimes we have to work the hard cases. Sometimes we get to work the easy ones, right? Sometimes we have to do the hard ones. I actually think this one's quite easy. You could have charged like 3 different people. Could have charged the counselor who slept with him, the person who did the intake, and the original counselor who was with him when he first came in, because they didn't follow a defined state approved operating procedure for dealing with these type of children. Because I doubt their operating procedure is shove them into this bag and then put them into the bivvy and just be like, oh yeah, can you hear them? Yeah, oh, they sound fine. I don't think that's a real standard operating procedure. You normally have to have face-to-face contact throughout the night on the first few nights. It's normally first one night, but some of them are up to a week, depending on how long the stay is. But you're supposed to have face-to-face contact, not just, oh yeah, I can hear him in the tent. He definitely sounds like he's breathing. That's not a real thing. It's supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to see him, communicate, that type of thing. Looks like they followed it for a little bit that night. You heard me talk about it through the autopsy, and then they just decided, oh yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. So, well, I'm concerned that the parents were giving them excuses as to why their son was naked. They were like, wait, let me find a reason to get you off the hook. Oh yes, he did have some tag irritation. Could that be why my son was naked in a foreign place? Yes? Oh, great. Great. I'm glad that is taken care of. Yeah. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. What? One's for saying that Trails helped their son. These places. Yeah, I mean, there are places like this that do a great job in not rehabilitating, but helping build children up and teaching them the skills they need to go home. and live better lives within their family unit. This one wasn't very good. It has a checkered history. Not even checkered. It has a well-known history. You are thankful to Trails? They have a terrible history, my friend. Ah, I see. Sorry, your messages are coming through all out of order on my side. Here, DJ says he found this comment on Reddit. We sent our 12-year-old son there a year prior to this. Trails did a wealth of good for our son. I'm devastated and shocked at the news. I know I'm one of the unpopular ones for saying that Trails helped our son. No, you're not the unpopular one. You fail to understand the complexity of it, that just because your son was okay and came back better doesn't mean that everyone's child did. And just because your child had a positive experience, your child could have been the 1 out of 100 where 99 others had a terrible time at Trails Carolina. And for some reason, they took a liking to your kid and your kid had a great time. You don't have the information or the data to be able to form an opinion about whether your son or daughter or whatever is an outlier or the norm. And until you do, you should shut the fuck up. Typing on Reddit trying to defend them. You have to be smoking crack. do you think it's the type of conversation you should get into? Like, do you think there's a giant investigation going on about a kid who died and you're like, yes, I think this is the right time for me to wade into this debate and leave a comment on Reddit saying positive things? That's a very ill-timed, it's probably the period of time where you just go, shh, just, it's all right. Maybe another time, love. Maybe another time. Maybe another time we can say nice things about them. Not right now. Amy says exactly, Ping. Yeah. Angela says the son was probably a good kid that did what was told. Yeah. No, that's what I mean. It could be an outlier. Like, there's 100 different variabilities of why that particular child had a good time, and every other child that's gone there has complained. There's a billion different reasons. Could be, I don't want to, I would not want to ever put that evil on a child, but imagine if that child, not saying they are, just saying, it's just a hypothetical. So don't be like, oh my God, I'm going to tell that mom you said that. What if that child was already in an abusive situation at home and was used to the abuse, right? So they already had been groomed and used to and normalized being abused. So when they went to Trails Carolina, it was like they were at home. So when they got sent back home, they're like, the parents like, how was Trails? And they're like, I loved it, Mom. It was the best. They really helped me. And the mom's like, wow, my child's acting very good, just like he does at home. You can't know. Like, we don't know. We don't know your son. So it's very hard to deduce what her experience with her kid means, if anything. That's why I showed you that man's comments. Did you see that guy's comments on the Google review? I was hoping someone would pick it up, but no one picked it up. Yeah, where is it? Reviews. Yeah, I'll find it and then I'll show it to you. This dude leaves a lot of reviews for a lot of different companies. He must be very bored. Yeah. It was this guy, the one I read out. The guy that had the insurance and that it got rejected. Which I am going to try track him down. I'm going to try track him down, see if he'll come talk to us about what it was like to send a child there. I don't know if he will, but I would like to speak to him. It was this guy here. This guy. In all of this, 3 paragraphs of review of the company, what parts of this talk about anything about what your child did while they were there, or what they did to do anything for your child? Nothing. Just the first little bit where it says it wasn't a good fit for our child, and then everything else is about money. Did you notice that? He talks about one sentence about it being for the kid, and then 90% of it is about how much money he wasted and how expensive it was and how their insurance wasn't getting paid and how they were having problems with the insurance. Didn't hear much about what happened to your child once it made it back home. Luckily alive compared to other children. But I find that very interesting. Right. I was hoping someone would pick it up earlier. No one picked it up. I know. I caught the rest of it. It's okay. It's all right. I caught the rest of it. You missed it all. We gave away a car. We gave away $1 million, but hold on, it's not a giveaway. You're going to have to come work for Ping, and it's actually a promotional job, but we still gave away $1 million. What else did we do? We patted puppies, and I think we went and saw a rainbow at one point. Yeah, we caught up. Actually, no, we just spoke about that little kid. Oh, it makes me mad, guys. I hate the fact that that little kid is not going to see any justice at all. It really makes me mad. What does it say here about him? That's a different one. I do not believe he was born August 28th, 1944. And I don't believe he died in 2000. Oh my God. Is the one that died at the camp? Is it a reincarnation of this one? That's very freaky. They were born around the same time. I mean, at the same time this one died. That's pretty freaky. Hold on. No, that's not it. Yeah, does it say anything else here? None of the minors disclosed hearing words or distress. I feel like they're missing the point though. So here they actually say that none of the other minors that were present the night that this child died heard any type of, distress or words or anything like that. I don't understand why they're so focused on that. Aren't you sort of missing the point that no one physically checked on him after he was taken out of the dressing, the camping bag or whatever, and then put back into it? No one checked on him after that. I think that really, emphasizes where this investigation went wrong. Clark Joseph Harmon. 8 hours ago from WCNW. Nope, that's election news. They're saying the prosecutors will not seek charges. Yep, we know that. They're saying staff members called 911 when the boy did not respond to attempts to wake him, and emergency personnel were unable to revive him. So, okay. They're saying a report in April stated that the camp failed to check on the boy to see if he was breathing while requiring him to sleep in a bivvy, a small sleeping bag-like tent that was covered by a plastic sheet. At some point, staff determined there was an issue with the zipper, according to NBC News. An unidentified staff member assigned to sleep next to the boy had heard someone breathing heavily at one point, but couldn't determine if it was a boy or another employee. That was probably the death rattle. They're saying staff members called 911 when the boy did not respond to attempts to wake up. Emergency personnel were unable to revive him. So did no one commit CPR before emergency personnel got there? The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services revoked the facility's license in May, saying it failed to comply with state regulations. So they can fail to comply with state regulations, but be unable to be charged under the law in the death of Clark. Okay. They're saying here, this is an incredibly heartbreaking case, and our thoughts are with Clark Harmon's family and loved ones during this profoundly difficult time. The investigation revealed that Clark Harmon's death was the result of suffocation, which, while tragic, yeah, whatever, I don't believe you. All right. Okay, dong, 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 whatever that means. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. That's okay. All right. That's it for that. That's it for that. Packing for a trip to where? To Hale Bopp? To Halley's Comet? Please, did you join a cult? I hope you did not join a cult. No spaceship will come for you, and you will not be teleported up to the comet. Do not wear any Nike shoes. You will not survive. Do not drink the Kool-Aid. Do not drink the Kool-Aid. I hope you are not going on a trip to a comet. It is back asswards. That is true. All right, give me 1 second. I need a drink, and I'll be back. Yeah, I caught it. I had to reboot. I don't know what happened there. I was saying today that Texas Roadrunner sent me a link, and I'm trying to find it. Hold on 1 second. What is going on? We're having tech problems, apparently. I don't know why we're having tech problems all of a sudden. All right. All right, here we go. Let's head to the San Antonio Express News. So this must be her daughter right here, by the way, Susan's daughter. What a pretty lady and a very pretty daughter. Her daughter left this, a note on Instagram, Snapchat, I don't know which one it is, one or the other. What was it? Instagram. She says, to the community of Alamo Heights, my mom was a victim of abuse from my father. My father took my mother's life in a state of rage and control. In our community, this should not be happening, and I will not stop speaking as the voice of my mother until she is found. I will forever represent all victims of DV. As my mother's daughter, I will tell our story over and over again with every breath, and I'll make sure you remember her name. She says, shame on Alamo Heights for not educating the youth in the community on DV and SA, as women across the world suffer in silence. And they're saying here, shame on my community for not speaking out about DV within Alamo Heights. Women are marginalized by society and misogyny every day and are told to keep their mouth shut. This is the time to speak for my mom, to speak for yourself. Your voice will be heard. My mom fought for her life, fought for her family and herself. Our community needs to come forward with strength and bring something. I'm not sure what, but bring something. Doesn't tell me the rest. Oh, she urged the community to come forward with strength and bring awareness and change to uplift the mother, uplift her mother's death, like, in her mother's name. To those who choose to remain silent are choosing to blind themselves from DV in our homes. My mother tried to leave my father and lost her life. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is a cry for help, a cry for attention. I don't know. It comes across when I first read it, I was like, wow, that's a real nasty letter to leave your community. The community that called the cops and got the police there to look for your mom, gave statements to try and find your mom after they realized that your dad had hurt her, looked for her in the blazing heat, provided food, money, and assistance to you and your siblings, including from Meal Train and other donations, and then you come out and try and attack Alamo Heights community. I was like, that's a really weird hill to die on. I know that's a weird phrase, but it's the only thing I could think of. I mean, it seems like a very jumbled message, and then when I read it again, it almost just seems like a cry for help. It almost just seems like she just wants her mum back. And, she's gone through a very terrible experience losing her mum in such a, very awful, very public way. This is her lashing out in some parts of it, other parts asking for change, other parts, sort of saying no one did a good enough job. It's a bit of a confused message. But yeah, I don't know. We all want Susan Simpson to be found. We all do. I don't think there's anyone who doesn't want Simpson to be found. I think we all would like her to be located. So I don't know what to say. Except for I understand. I know that it must be real hard not knowing where her mum is. But I don't know. I'm not sure if attacking the community is the right idea. In her post, she addressed it to the community of Alamo Heights, vowed to be a mother's voice and voice for domestic DV victims. She urged members of the community to speak up and show up for the next court appearance for her father, which is scheduled for November 13th. That she says, in our community, this should not be happening. Now, and I will not stop speaking as the voice of my mother until she was found. I will forever represent all victims of DV and assault. I don't know. I think that's great. Everyone should support her, and if you are in the local area and can get to the court hearing, the local community should pack that hearing so Brad Simpson knows how many people know what he did to his wife, even though she hasn't been located and he hasn't been charged. They know what happened. Like everyone knows. That's why they're here in this courtroom, watching him with eagle eyes. Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's a misplaced dig at her local community. Yeah, I just think she's just angry at the world. Yeah, I think I'd probably agree. I think that's probably what it is. That she's probably just mad. And she has every right to be. I don't begrudge her that right of being very sad and very mad that what happened to her mum. It's been so long already. Susan went missing, what was it? October October 6th, a month ago. Let me have a look. Susan Simpson. I thought it was a first weekend in October, right? I'm trying to find the... Why is no one posting the date? They're saying the husband of a woman missing for 4 days out of Olmos Park is under arrest. So that's back when they arrested Brad Simpson. And that's the original press conference. Yeah, October 6th was the night they returned home from the Argyle. They were at the Argyle Private Club nearby in Alamo County. Is that right? And then they came back to the house. People reported hearing them fighting. People saw that Brad had put hands on Suzanne, and that's when police were called. But by the time police got there, a neighbor heard sounds out the back and heard like some sort of loud noise out the back of the properties in the foresty bushland area. By the time cops got there, Suzanne was nowhere to be found. They also said that Brad ended up leaving the area for about 2 hours that night. He left and then returned about 2 hours later. They think in that particular time that he dumped her body. Olmos Park. Yeah, it's Olmos Park. And the other one is Alamo Heights, right? Alamo Heights is where the club is. Olmos Park is where they live. So the club, Argyle, is in Alamo Heights, right? And Olmos Park is where she lives. Pretty sure. I've covered this case quite a bit. Pretty sure they're neighboring suburbs or counties or whatever. They're like there's a line that goes straight through the middle, like that, and there's one side is that, the other side is the other. When they're at the club, they were in the other county. All right, let me just grab this. Unfortunately, are they still doing any public searches for Susan? I haven't seen anything, to be totally honest with you. Here, I'm going to take you to KSAT. We're going to watch something. We're going to watch something together. All right, hold on. Why aren't you loading? There we go.
Today marks 1 month since a mother from Olmos Park disappeared. And over the last 30 days, Suzanne Simpson's husband has been jailed, but not charged with her disappearance. Several local and state law enforcement agencies have searched for Suzanne Simpson, from the couple's home in Olmos Park to a landfill miles away in southeast Bexar County. To understand the entire story, though, we have to go back to October 6th, the last time that Suzanne Simpson was seen.
Suzanne Simpson and her husband, Brad Simpson, attended a private party at the Argyle, a dinner club in Alamo Heights, on the evening of October 6th. The pair were seen fighting at that party and returned to their Olmos Park home later that night. An affidavit shows a neighbor of the couple saw and heard the Simpsons get into a fight sometime between 10 and 11. The same neighbor says they saw Suzanne and Brad walk away from their home. Moments later, screams heard, and Brad Simpson came back to the home, got in his truck, and left. That is the last time Suzanne Simpson was seen. 3 days later, Brad Simpson is arrested and charged with assault, family violence, and unlawful restraint in Kendall County. This after Simpson himself reported his wife missing to police on October 7th. In the same time frame, police had searched the Simpson home and the woods near their house in Olmos Park. Police say Simpson eventually became uncooperative in the investigation, which prompted the warrant for his arrest. Then on Friday, October 11th, federal authorities placed a retainer on Brad Simpson to keep him in jail. This motion used when a federal agency wants to keep an inmate in custody. Days later, on October 15th, Brad Simpson is hit with a new federal illegal gun charge. Investigators say this short-barreled rifle belonged to Brad. It was also not registered.
That charge for that weapon is a pretty pissy charge. It is literally a holding charge. It's got really nothing to do with anything. And if a cop found you with that any other day of the week, they wouldn't arrest you. It's literally just to keep him in jail. That's all it's for. I've heard other people just got warnings for it, saying that you should go get it registered with the ATF or whatever. It's not a massive deal. Moon Shadow says, I'm honestly relieved my ex did not off me when we got divorced. I'm glad he didn't off you either. I'm glad you're away from him. It is a sad case coming up this week. Yesterday or today for you would be 1 month since she was last seen. They've conducted several searches, one in Kendall County, one in that landfill south of San Antonio, southwest of San Antonio, southeast. I can't remember, but south of San Antonio. Didn't find anything, and still to this day, they have not been able to locate Susan Simpson. She is still a missing person, although her clear alert has been cancelled now, and they haven't been able to do anything else. He's due in court 17th of September in 10 days' time. Dyslexia, hey, how are you? My ex thought I was going to off him. Yeah, you got to it first, did you? You're like, I claim dibs on killing you if we break up. You're like, you're not going to get me. Yeah, so there's your update out of that. I think that's an interesting message by the daughter. I would just say to people, I don't know, keep surrounding her children with love and help. I mean, none of us can realize what it must be like to have a mother who is missing somewhere in the city. Like, they don't know where. I don't know what that feeling would be like if I was a child. She's not young, but I mean, she is still a child of her mother. Think she was chopped up and is in the landfill? I reckon they would have found her if that was the case. DJ says, I searched for that weapon when you originally discussed it. I'm pretty sure that it is foreign made. It did not alter the length of the barrel. Yeah, I've heard you can own them. It just has to be registered to the ATF. There's a special form that you have to fill out, but there's no illegality about it. It's literally the definition of a holding charge. The definition, this is what cops will do. They'll find anything. They have to find something they can hold you on. And that's what they could find. And they're like, yeah, firearms charge with the ATF. It's federal. That'll definitely keep him in jail for a couple of months until we find his wife. And then we can charge him, with her murder. That's basically what that is. Yeah, I think it may have been going on for a while. I think her daughter's like 20 now or something, if I'm correct. Let me look that up again. I have far too many links open. Far too many. Susan Simpson. Yeah. So Susan Simpson's daughter, Chandler Simpson, is 20. She's an adult woman. She could have spoken out about the abuse if she wanted to. I know she hits out at the community, but no one would know more than the people who are close to home, right? The people who see the inside between your mother and your father. The person who would see the majority of it would be you, but I know it's very hard to go against what your mom says to do. Maybe she said, don't tell anyone, like she's very embarrassed or, didn't want people knowing about the troubles within the household. But hey, you're 20 years old, kid. You are old enough to file a police report, then try and blame the community. I hope she finds a way to process her anger towards the local community. I don't know. I feel like the community's really come out and tried to support that family. They've done everything. There's been people come in on their days off. There's been people make meals for those kids. There's been money drives. People have been door knocking. There's been a lot of different initiatives put forward to help support them. And even though a lot of people were very against it, a lot of people were very against supporting that family with any type of monetary or any type of support because they're quite wealthy. And a lot of people are saying, oh, why should we support them? There's other families that are doing it way tougher, in just as tragic circumstances. Why should we support them? And Mm. Okay. Sorry. Hey, BC, I haven't seen you in ages. How's it going? It had the illegal switch on it. Still not something you'd probably be done for that often. Still not that big of a deal. There's so many of them. Do you know how many illegal switches there are roaming around Texas? There's a lot. They're everywhere. That's why I don't know if you ever listened to any Sexy Red, but she's always talking about how she got switches for them Glocks, and she'll give them to everyone. They are everywhere. The switches for the Glocks. I can't remember what song that is, but she's like, I got the I can't remember. It's funny. She's like, I've got this and I got this and I got them switches for them Glocks. I think it's might be F My Baby Daddy, that song, which is pretty funny. It's not funny right now, Ping. It's a serious topic. We're talking about a missing woman. So switch is the thing on the bottom of the gun that allows you to reload and fire every so often. An automatic, you can just pull back and pull the trigger and it'll keep firing. A semi-automatic, I think, is similar. But you can get switches for Glocks and that where it's made with a 3D printer, and you can put it in. It'll turn it in for your Glock from a semi to an auto, if I'm right, or is it from a single fire to an auto? I'm not sure. I'm not a not a firearms person. Hold on, let's look it up and get Ping arrested. I'm going to go to incognito browsing. Hold on. So between 2017 and 2023, Texas-based ATF agents seized 991 Glock switches, 490 just in the last financial year. And so apparently Texas lawmakers voted for banning Glock switches, including 3D printed. Yeah, so we can probably go here. Hold on. Copy link address. So I think that's all it is, right? They're just these little pieces of plastic which you can put in there, and it does something. It's sort of like a bump stock where it can turn your thing into... Fuck. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Oh, it's like, do you ever have those weeks where it's like just the bad news keeps coming? It's like you just get the bad. So the car went in today, and then we got a phone call saying the window mechanism, the thing when you press the button to make it go up and down, it had frayed. So it needs a whole new mechanism for the inside of the window. And they're like, that's going to be like $460. And then they're like, the air conditioner. Hold on, what? Oh, no. So, yeah. Yeah, so it was $385 for today, and then next week to do the window, it's $170 for the part and $250 for the labor. So $1,000. F. F. A rare work from home day. So apparently she just said that the mechanic found the last one they could find for the model of our car. So if it wasn't that, the window wouldn't be getting fixed unless they went to a scrapyard. So we were very lucky because the car's a 2005 model. RX Girl says, my window don't work either. My son slammed it too hard. We don't know what happened. She came home from work one day, went to put the window back up, and it started making like crunchy noises. Instead of going like that, it just went. So it was like, what the hell? It sounds like there's a monster that lives in there. I listened to Ping Day. Scrappy is your friend? Scrappy is my friend? I don't think he's here. I think he's with Trish. All right, let's talk about the switches for them Glocks. So there you go. That's sort of what they look like. These little 3D printed plastic. You could print them on any 3D printer. Like, I mean, they are not hard to get. Illegal gun switches, image courtesy of the ATF. They say the threat of switches, often made from metal or plastic, switches fit into the butt of a gun to enable automatic firing. They make guns more lethal by allowing them to fire many bullets with just one pull of the trigger. The increased firepower makes them especially dangerous in crimes and mass shootings, and they pose threats to police officers in confrontations. Last year in Alabama, 2 teens opened fire at a birthday party, killing 4 men and injuring 32 others, using 7 handguns, including 2 that had been illegally modified using switches. In Jackson, Mississippi, shooters used guns modified with Glock switches during a shootout when an innocent driver was killed in the crossfire, and another in a similar situation which resulted in the death of a law enforcement officer. Oh, okay. Okay. They say switches are small, easy to hide, and can be made with 3D printers, making them hard to detect and control, as these devices are created and distributed without additional manufacturing control, making it easier for criminals to obtain and use them. Possessing a switch is illegal under the National Firearms Act, which classifies them as machine guns. Between 2017 and 2023, ATF agents seized just under 1,000 switches, with half of them of these seizures occurring in the last year alone. Devices are frequently sold over social media, targeting both adults and minors. As part of Operation Texas Kill Switch, U.S. attorneys are partnering with Crime Stoppers programs across Texas to combat the spread of the illegal devices. Until August 31st, 2024, local Crime Stoppers will offer cash rewards for information, leading to the apprehension or prosecution of those possessing the switches or using 3D printers to manufacture them. Tips can be submitted around the clock through local Crime Stopper programs or directly to the ATF. Dallas Machine Gun Conversion Device. So we can have a look. This is what it actually does to a gun here.
What you just saw was a Glock pistol shoot 30 rounds of ammunition in 2.3 seconds. These machine gun conversion devices, also known as Glock switches and auto sears, are being used to convert semi-automatic firearms into fully automatic firearms in a matter of seconds. Today, I will walk you through and show you how to identify and what to look for when inspecting a firearm. Glock switches and auto sears come in different styles. Some are 3D printed and come in a variety of different colors, and others are being manufactured and sent in from overseas. These are typically black, which makes them harder to identify. Some of the switches have the word Glock printed on them, even though they're not manufactured by Glock. When inspecting a handgun, look at the rear plate to see if it has been replaced. You can also look underneath the slide to see if something has been placed there to interfere with the striker. This is a clear indicator that something foreign has been installed in the firearm. The auto sear would be located here, above the grip and behind the trigger cylinder. Be sure to reach in and physically check the assembly and the lug area, because a black auto sear can easily be list. Federal law considers Glock switches and auto sears to be machine guns. Possessing one in or outside of a firearm can lead up to 10 years in federal prison. According to state law, conversion devices have to be installed on the firearm to be charged as a machine gun. If they are found outside of the firearm, they are charged as possession of a criminal instrument. ATF is happy to assist in investigations involving Glock switches and auto sears. Contact your local ATF office and let us know how we can help.
There you go. There you go. That's how they operate. That's how they work. That's how you can find them. Yeah, we call them a wrecker's yard. No, I don't know why they're not going that route. The guy that we go to gives us pretty good prices anyway. If we went to like a name brand, like, I don't know, like Toyota or whatever, they would charge us like 5 times as much. So it's just annoying because we've got the wedding coming up in December. So we've been trying to limit costs until we go away. And it's like, oh yeah, now the car needs $1,000 worth of work. It's like fucking great. Moonshadow says only 10 years, ridiculous. I agree. But anyone can make them. 3D printer, done in half a day or a day. You can get them done. Hey, Carlisa, how are you? Good to see you. How long do we have? About half an hour. By the way, there was an update out of that story that I brought you yesterday. The woman found in the car. If you missed the social media post, I did post about it quite a bit. Let me... Rory, you sneezing? Sneezing? Yeah? You right? Go to sleep, girl. She's sneezing. I'm like, you got allergies too? Silly cat. All right. Where is this guy's name? Johnny D. Marcello. Johnny D. Marcello is the guy responsible for the woman's body found in the car with the handbag on top. I brought it to you yesterday, this one. They already arrested him, so this is weird. I don't know why they did it like this. So this got released and everyone's like, oh my God, there's a killer on the loose, and they left a woman in a car. It was literally like 10 minutes later, they arrested the guy at a property nearby. So he had already been arrested by the time this made the media. They're saying on Wednesday afternoon, police revealed that Johnny D. Marcello, 48, the police say he's 46. Daily Mail says he's 48. I don't know. They're saying he was arrested a short time after the incident with the woman at a home. He was taken to St. George Police Station and has been charged with contravene prohibit / restriction in AVO domestic, take and drive conveyance without consent of owner, drive while disqualified, second offense, and breach of bail. I actually found his bail documents. So if I upload it, I will show you. He was bailed around July last year out of a Sydney parole meeting here. Let me post that. So he's been out of jail about a year. And now he's killed a woman who had a DVO out against him. Sounds like a great guy. Nope, that's not it. This one. There. So as you can see here, his name, Johnny D. Marcello. This was from the 12th of June, 2023. And this is the State Parole Authority court list. This is when you go to court to get parole. So it was around June last year, he was seeking parole out of a Sydney or New South Wales prison for prior offences. And as you can see in his charges here, he got done with breach of bail. You get bail when you're on parole. Basically the same thing. Yeah. Yes, I know. Some people saw it. Not everyone's subscribed to the Facebook. Yeah, very quick arrest. Very good. Our bail laws are a joke. Well, it seems women are on the end of those laws, and the most likely casualty from bail laws are actually partners who die due to their partner not being staying in jail, and they DV them and kill them. So seems like it was a DV incident where I believe, because they did him with a motor vehicle offense, that she may have been killed elsewhere and then moved in the vehicle to this location. So how far away or where the murder scene is, I don't know. But they did him with a couple of driving offenses. Like one of them is conveyance of a driving vehicle that he didn't own. That's basically him driving her car without her permission. So yeah, there you go. Unfortunately, that poor lady is not coming back. She is deceased. And now he's in jail again, but they haven't charged him with any murder charges at all, which is interesting. Yeah, I find that very interesting that they didn't charge him with any. He was only charged with contravene, prohibition, restriction in AVO, which is apprehended violence order, domestic, take and drive conveyance without consent. That's taking a car and driving it without consent. Drive while disqualified. That means he doesn't have a license, and he got done with breach of bail. So yeah, I would say he drove her body from a different location or something. Why he left her bag on top of the roof, or did cops do that? I don't know. But yeah, you can definitely see her ID here. Hopefully we get to find out who she was and what her story is at some point. But yeah, that arrest, all wrapped up within about 10 minutes of finding her body. They're just a piece of paper. That's all it is. Definitely. Could be. Hey Natasha, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, I think Trisha's on in about 10-15 minutes, something like that. Let's see what else happened today. Delphi closing arguments. We'll see what happens there. Bolo, missing woman out of Oregon. Okay. Caitlin Henry. Kaylin Henry. Caitlin Henry. That's just great. It doesn't show up. Here we go. KDVR. So they're saying police searching for missing woman last seen in Medford. There's a photo of her. Her name is Kaylin KJ Henry. She's 5 foot 6 inches tall, weighs 150 pounds, and has several distinguishing tattoos. These include a tattoo that says justice on her jawline, another that says Jana on her neck, and another that says drifting on memory on her chest. She also has Guns N' Roses on her arm. If you see her, call 911 or Officer Gordon at 541-774-2250. She's from the Clathman tribes. What is that? Is that a native tribe people? What is that? Is that these people? So these people just sort of need a thing that says this is who we are. Tribal council? No, we don't need that. Culture and heritage. Yes, that would be good. No, that doesn't really help. I just want to know where they're from. So apparently they're in the Clathman Basin of Oregon. Okay, Oregon. So there's a whole bunch of people that are involved in that particular tribe. The Mucklucks, the Numu. There's a whole bunch of different people. Whole bunch of different tribes, apparently. Clatham tribes. The Clatham tribes include 3 tribes in their membership: the Clatham, the Modoc, and the Yahuskan, and bands of Snakes Indians. So that's she must be native, a native person. I need a graphic. Changing topic. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo. That's what we need. Follow the big stories for today. I love when people inhabit the southern DJ. It's very specific. Natasha says many tribes up and down the west coast. Yeah, I hadn't heard of this one before. So I'm guessing she's a yeah, I found this one on Crime Online from our friend Lee Agan. The Yurok tribe in Oregon, Yurok, is that how you pronounce that? Is seeking to help locate a 25-year-old woman. Police said she was last seen in Medford on October 30. It's unclear what clothing she was wearing when she disappeared. She is described as Native American, who stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs around 150 pounds, and has those tattoos that we talked about. Yeah, that's it. There's only like 2 papers. It's Crime Online, KDRV, and there's one other. Kobe 5, whatever that is. NBC, I think. There you go. There's a nice poster for her. Missing person, Kaylin KJ Henry. And they said, yeah, if you can report it to Officer Gordon Medord, Oregon PD, 541-774-2250, or text or call concerned family members. Her sister is 458-254-0126, or her mother at 541-591-4408. There you go. So if you're in that area and you see this young lady walking around, call it in. She needs to find her way back to her family. That would be good work. All right. Yeah, she is. Yeah, I agree. Very pretty young woman. I just wish there was more media about it. Like, this is literally it. It's me, two news stations, and Crime Online, Lee Agan. That's it. There's no more people. It's just us. It's just us. There are a lot of people missing. I feel like it never ends. Actually, I'll show you something. Where can I find it? Hold on. If you go to the Missing Persons in America Facebook page, it's just one of many. They got hundreds of people. Jennifer Pentilla, Jan Cotter, that was a long time ago. Melanie Bellinger. Hey, we did Melanie Bellinger the other day. We did her story just the other day, Melanie's. They said that she left her home without her phone or vehicle and is believed to be on foot. And we all just went, I don't think so. I don't believe anyone leaves without their purse, their phone, or their vehicle. Yeah, there's something odd about that one. We're going to find out more about Melanie at a later time, I am sure. But keep an eye out for her if you're in Wiley, Texas. And if you see her, call it into the police department at 972-429-8014. Kamanya Abrams, last seen in the Magnolia Homes Road and Edgewater Drive in Orlando, Florida on November 6, 2024. Still missing, unfortunately, out of Orlando. But there's just heaps. Look, Markesha Sadler, she's been missing since November 1 in New York. James Castro, missing since November 2 out of Cali. Ryder Marquez, missing out of Ventura, California. Shamira Gaines, Cleveland, Ohio, age 14. Just a baby. Just a baby. Kaylin Montesino. Actually, she sounds really familiar. Missing November 5, 2024. 14 years old. Oh my God. I thought she was like a 21-year-old woman. I really did. I was like, that's a 21-year-old girl or like a 19-year-old girl. That girl is 14. 14 years old. It's like bad ping. I need a rubber band. Like, don't say that again. Let's see. Thank you, whoever sent that. Oh, you scared the hell out of me. I thought that was something else. Someone sent me a thing about a missing person out of Black Canyon in Gunnison National Park, West Colorado. For a minute, I saw National Park missing young male, and I thought it was our one missing out of Eagle Point, the one we were doing a month or so ago. But no, it's this one. This young guy, body of a 19-year-old student who went missing was found at the base of a cliff in Black Canyon in the Gunnison National Park in western Colorado. They said Dallas Roberts was missing for almost a week inside the Black Canyon, and he was repissing. That's not a real word, Ping. Reported missing. See, it doesn't sound good when you combine those two words together. Reported missing October 28th from the Montrose County Sheriff's Office. Hi, Rory. Sheriff Gene Lillard told McClatchy News on the phone. As the agency organized search efforts for Roberts the next day, the National Park Service notified the agency that Roberts had raced through the park's entrance in a truck that was later found about 150 feet down a hill into the brush off a road that leads into the base of the Black Canyon. They then brought in a cadaver dog. A few days later, the National Park Service officials found a sweater that the Roberts family identified as his about a half mile from the wreck. The agency sent drones into the canyon's south rim to check areas beneath deep drop-offs into the canyon and found Roberts' body lying in sagebrush in an area about 200 feet beneath a bench midway down the granite cliffside. Rescuers used ropes and pulleys to lift his body from the canyon, according to the sheriff. They said it's an absolute tragedy. Roberts was attending a college at Colorado Mesa University in Grand Junction on the western slope of the Rocky Mountains, about 75-mile drive northwest from the park. He was a local to Montrose, which is about a 12-mile drive southwest from the park, and about a 65-mile drive west of the town of Gunnison. They say Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park spans 31,000 acres of exceptionally rugged, remote terrain that surrounds part of a deep, steep-walled gorge carved into rock by the Gunnison River. That is very sad. Unfortunately, I'm glad they found him very quickly. Unlike our one out of Eagle Peak, who they still haven't been able to locate at all. Needing heart medication, you, the guy, or me? Unfortunately, it's we have a MIPA, Missing Indigenous People Alert, for a couple of years now. I hope it'll help. Oh, I didn't know that one. I'll have to keep an eye out for a MIPA or an MIPA. What is it? What can I put in the description? It's a Washington State thing only. Oh, it's like like a silver or amber alert. Melanie. Oh, she needs heart medication. Really? I didn't know that. Unless I told that to you, then yes, I totally did know that. I know everything. I know all the stuff about all the cases. I hope they find her. That case, I swear to God, you need to you need to look at the husband. Sorry, I didn't say that. No one said that. That was radio interference. I bet he has. I don't trust anyone. I don't trust anyone that reports their wife missing 5 hours later, 12 hours later, 19 hours later, whatever. I don't trust anything that says, "Oh, they just left without a phone. They just left without their keys, their car, makeup, shoes, underwear. They were wearing a nightgown that they'd never wear in public, but somehow they left the house." I don't know. I would just we've had so many this year. So many with the same red flags. I'm actually going to buy a little set of red flags, and I'm just gonna go like this every time I hear it. It was Ed saying it, definitely. It wasn't me. I didn't say anything. Radio interference. That's so. How sad. If that is true, and she is no longer with us, I hope she's still alive. But if she's not, and if she never made it to her heart surgery that would have given her a better quality of life, that is awful. It is awful. That's not a very nice thing. I hope they find her. Women don't leave their homes without their phone. I ain't never seen a woman leave her home without a phone, a purse, 28 pounds of crap that no one ever asked for. But if you ever need something, you're like, "Hey, do you have one of these in your purse?" And they're always like, "Let me check." And they're always like, "Yes, I do." And you're like, "Wow, why do you keep tins of red herring from, from Europe in your bag?" And you're like, "I don't know, just I got one day, I was at a fair, they were giving them out, I just put it in my bag and it just sort of sat there. But I'm glad I had it today when you needed it." That's exactly what it's like. I bought Mrs. Ping a new bag for her birthday. I bought her a Guess handbag. She really wanted one. She had one when she was a younger woman, and I bought it for her for this year. And I was trying to be nice. She'd fallen asleep, and I was like, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean out her bag, and I'm going to put everything in her bag into her new bag for her. So when she wakes up, she doesn't have to do it, and her bag will just be ready to use." It took me 2.5 hours to go through her bag. I'm not kidding. It took 2.5 hours. I was like, they're like going through a pocket. Here's some mints. Here's like this. Here's some freaking tampons and this and that. I'm like, what? I'm like, well, she has tampons in this pocket and tampons in this one. It's like, why? Don't you just keep them in the same place? Or is it like some sort of covert operation where you might need it? Oh, I can't turn my bag because someone might notice and then they'll know. Yeah, that was an adventure and a half. That was an adventure and a half. I found all sorts of stuff. I was like, "Oh my god, that's where that spare key to the front door's been." I was like, "I've been looking for that for like 6 months." I was like, "I bet you if I asked her if she had it, she'd be like, 'No, I don't have any spare keys.'" Never seen it. You can never have too many tampons. Yeah, good for bloody noses apparently. If you if you ask Chad Daybell. Yeah, she had tissues. She got vape juice in there. She got like candy, gum, keys, band-aids, like tablets and stuff. And I'm like, how old are these? And I'm like, would you eat that gum? You can't even tell what brand it is anymore because it doesn't have any ink on the little wax paper. The wax paper is now clear and it's just unidentifiable. I would call it purse gum. It's purse gum now. You can't even tell what brand it is. You're like, it's like a mystery gum. All right, yeah, she just has one. She takes it everywhere. All right, we better get out of here. Take you over to Lauren Matthias and Trish. I don't know what they're going to talk about. Probably Delphi. Let me check one thing before we get out of here. By the way, my friend Betty C sent in a donation last night, really late last night, my time. But she wanted her message to be kept private, so I won't read it out to you. But I will say I got it. I read your message. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. And you are welcome in reply to your message. If you want to support this channel, please like and subscribe. And if you too would like to send in a donation, and your name will end up in the ending video when StreamYard finally fixes it, there are links underneath the video or in the chat. Anyway, I appreciate it. I will see you. Have fun with Lauren and Trish. I will see you guys tomorrow about the same time, about 8:30. Were we on at 8:30? 8:30 p.m. I'll see you all later. Good night. Bye.